Hello and welcome to another Office Hours. Look into my eyes. Look into them. You know what this is. You know exactly what this is. It's a capsule. That's right, a capsule. This is an office hour, a portion of my office hours live streams that I do on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, I believe. On twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/theastropublive. Come join us live and hang out with chat here who's going to lie and tell you that it's pre-recorded and all that kind of stuff. I guess it's technically not a lie because it is pre-recorded. I am recording this section from doesn't matter. We're going to be watching the ISC today, covering the UI from March 28th, 2024. So come on and watch with us. And if you enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and hit the bell icon to be notified when these release. Let's get started.
As Alpha 323 continues its journey towards what's shaping up to be one of the biggest and most impactful patches of Star Citizen yet, we continue discussing the various aspects and features contained within. And this week, we're going back to Team Kian with a quick look at the updated lens and visor, loot screens, and new shopping interface.
I love this new thing with the Zeus suit guy. Or Zeus suit person.
Be sure to explore all New Planet has to offer.
Oh, hold up.
What's
Something changed there.
All New Planet has to offer.
So this is what we have now.
Whether it's the latest in
It seems, is HDR up or something like that? No.
What's the difference
Oh.
between the lens?
Hold on, I'm going to back it up a little bit more. Sorry, one more time, chat.
whether it's the latest in
Crime stat. They still have the crime stat. And they have like Mobiglass or the yeah, there's the Microtech logo here too. That's the crime stat. And a mini map. Yeah, awesome. I didn't even notice that. This is neat. Destroy server racks.
What's the difference between the lens and the visor?
It's down to whether you're wearing the helmets or not.
The visor is essentially your HUD projected onto the helmet. So it's shown on the visor in front of your face. When you take the helmet off, you're wearing a contact lens in lore, and that shows your HUD as well.
Of course, in a video game, you're going to need all that HUD information.
You get information about your active status, your weapons, what you're holding, notifications, your missions, your comms, your chatting, everything like that.
Okay, what the fuck?
Your comm.
Please stop this, CIG. Please stop this. Are y'all seeing this, what I'm seeing? There's ghosting. So it's like a drop shadow ghost that they effect to everything to make it look more holographic. It looks awful. It's not as bad as it used to be. That's pretty bad. It's like it makes your eyes squint, and it's really bad for people like me who have astigmatism because like I have to focus and it'll give myself a brain like I hate that idea. It's bad. Just remove that. It's this ghosting like drop shadow stuff. Just remove that. It's fine. It looks really good. I like it so far, but that's bad.
Your missions, your comms, your chatting, everything like that is part of the visor and lens.
But we don't want to do it and just, it's magically there, right? You get the lens, it's right there. You have all the information projected on your eye immediately. And the second you put a helmet on, you will get the visor experience. It's making the UI diegetic.
The big upgrade
I like
in
this idea.
323 isn't so much new information, but
If you go to Microtech, you can actually see at the what is it called? It's the store, the Microtech store, the Apple store in Star Citizen. You can actually see the lens. They actually have little contacts out there. That's actually what's in your eyes. Like everything is like diegetically exposed to you. So if you could take out the lens, which would be a neat idea, CIG, to allow for people to do so, it would remove all the UI options, which would be kind of cool. Factory line.
It's a new dynamic system for showing and hiding widgets based on your current situation.
So all the basic information that you would see, like you need to know your health status. So you have all of these widgets.
So 900 HPA in Area 18 is very low. Yeah, if you back this up a little bit, obviously it's ISC, so it's a little bit different. But you also notice that his lungs are taking damage. So his lungs are actually, he's only at 82%, or this person's only at 82% efficiency with their lungs. So yeah, it's low, and their lungs are suffering from it because they're low pressure. It's harder for them to breathe, which is actually, it makes sense.
For showing and hiding widgets
Does a Paul diegetic count?
based on your current situation.
So all the basic information that you would see, like you need to know your health status. So you have all of these widgets telling you, okay, you're dying from this thing, you have no oxygen.
Jimothy, no!
It's warning you of all the different hazards that you can meet out there.
Jimothy.
We've got regions all over the lens, and we can specify which widgets we show in them. For example, down the bottom right, we've got the weapons, we've got the control hints, and we've got low priority notifications, which can take up a lot of real estate. If something else shows on screen that would overlap one of those, one of the lowest priority ones will dynamically turn off, and it'll all fit nicely onto screen again. Previously, all notifications were...
That's definitely crime stat. What you're seeing here is a crime stat because it's flashing red. It's flashing red, but it's specifically with Crusader. So it's saying in Crusader space, you have a level 3 crime stat, which I like. That's separating the crime stat from a global crime stat and more local. I like that idea.
Were shown in the center of the screen, which
In fact,
could get
pull back.
notifications were...
No, it doesn't update.
Previously, all notifications were shown in the center of the screen, which could get a bit busy. We've now introduced the concept of low priority notifications, which anything that's not super important to you will show in a box down in the bottom right of the screen instead of being loud and in your face.
The UI for the missions and objectives, again, that's all been updated.
The notification should animate over to the right-hand side of the screen where we've got our new objective UI. This presents essentially all the same information as the old objective UI, but in a much nicer package. We've also reworked the weapon UI, so you see a more detailed description of the weapon that you have. And this new visor and lens has been adapted to incorporate the new minimap.
I love it.
Another aspect of our dynamic widget system is that we can turn off specific widgets depending on what you're looking at. So if you've got your Mobi glass open, it can hide a lot of the widgets, maybe except for the node.
I like the new Mobi. Oh yeah, see, this is safe. So it's not oxygen. It's not that doesn't register as how much air you have left. It's just if what you're breathing is safe or not, or like how much oxygen's in an area maybe. That would also make sense. If you were really high up, you'd have less oxygen, or there would be less oxygen, because like people who climb mountains and tall buildings, and if you're flying at like high altitudes, you need to bring your own on air, like your own oxygen with you, because there's less of it up there naturally. So. That's the oxygen itself, yeah. And then this is just says this is safe, so.
Notifications. If you're looking at a kiosk, maybe we just want to show the control hints on the right-hand side and everything else can be easily hidden.
So with the visor, we can now customize the content that you see depending on the helmets you're wearing.
And what this new dynamic region gives us beyond 323 will be allowing artists to style things based on different visors and different missions and different purposes.
The code for the different styles of manufacturers, etc., is in now.
You can see the potential of having different visors for different helmets for these different roles.
That's great, but one of the things we really need is customizable like lighting or like coloring, because this is where I'm going to get on my soapbox. Accessibility is important. I understand that gameplay, some people will argue that gameplay is king, and you shouldn't dumb down a game to make it more accessible to more people, which I agree with, but when it's just a UI issue, when you can just change the color of the UI and it can improve the experience for people who are red-green colorblind, or, you know, people like me who have astigmatisms and other kind of things, just little tweaks here and there just to make it so you can read stuff easier and don't hurt yourself. It's not that hard to do, and they still haven't done that after several years. So there needs to be some changes there. And I only fear that what they're doing is, with the ability to have custom UI for different manufacturers, that the manufacturer's color will matter more than the customization of that UI element, because they want to make sure that the colors line up perfectly, which I get, but at the same time, please. Yeah, that's definitely a question that I would ask it myself in the chat, is how are you going to deal with red-green colorblind accessibility and other kind of low, like harder to see kind of stuff. So
The next thing is to get the artists onto the job, really.
In 323, the only specialized visor is going to be the combat visor that comes with the dynamic crosshair. But you can expect us to continue iterating on these visors in future patches.
God, I hate that thing.
So the loot screen builds on a lot of work that we've done in the personal inventory over the past few years.
This is a problem right here. Red and green. I mean, you get it. Enemy over here, you down here. You can kind of get it yourself, but like, it's not the only issue.
So the loot screen builds on a lot of work
Also, this is awful, but that's probably just an error on their part.
that we've done in the personal inventory over the past few years.
It's a new UI, giving the player the possibility to just pick up stuff on the go.
The existing personal inventory can be a bit cumbersome when trying to pick up ammo in a firefighter and things like that. So the new loot screen aims to address those issues.
Now when the player goes over to a body or a box, it can quickly press F, and this will bring up the new loot screen. This menu is a simplified version of the player's loadout and the entity they're looting. You'll see the looted entity items on the top and the players on the bottom.
You can easily swap between both and equip things from what you're looting by just clicking or clicking and dragging.
This screen is a more simplified version of the inventory, is to make the experience for the player to be quicker.
We also now have a separate
Is that a new
section for
gun?
armor, which wasn't considered.
Experience for the player to be quicker.
This? No, that's a scalpel. It's just a different, what is it called? Skin for the scalpel. Talking about
Goes over to a body.
New UI, giving the player
it's the same.
the possibility to
back to actually back it up a little bit. That's an LH. Yeah, these are all. That's not. That's just the. It's not a new gun. I think that's the submachine gun from Klaus and Werner.
Over the past few years.
It's a new UI, giving the player the
Let me step back a little bit. Yeah, scalpel permafrost sniper rifle is what that is. Just a skin of a scalpel.
the possibility to just pick up stuff on the go.
The existing personal inventory can be a bit cumbersome when trying to pick up ammo in a firefighter and things like that. So,
oh, is the loot screen only on combat-oriented helmets? That'd be interesting to know. I don't think that's what they said. I think it's just the thing. But yeah.
the new loot screen aims to address those issues.
Now when the player goes over to a body or a box, it can quickly press F, and this will bring up the new loot screen. This menu is a simplified version of the player's loadout and the entity they're looting. You'll see the looted entity items on the top and the players on the bottom.
You can easily swap between both and equip things from what you're looting by just clicking or clicking and dragging.
This screen is a more simplified version of the inventory, is to make the experience for the player.
So this is fine. Like, I like the subtle bounce back and forth. You need to be able to have the color changes because like this, you can't see them very well. Like, I like the blur effect works, but it's just not quite there. Things need to be a little bit bolder, and you definitely need to None of this streaking stuff. Like, I don't want to look like I'm driving in the middle of the night every time I look at the screen. It's like this right here is like a little blurry to me. It's harder for me to actually see that. So like get rid of that ghosting stuff. Like, I get you're trying to make it like stand out a little bit more, but it just looks awful.
Player to be quicker.
We also now have a separate section for armor, which wasn't a consideration for Squadron 42. You'll just click a button and it'll take you to a new page, and you can swap your armor with who you're looting.
Nice.
And see everything that they had equipped. We also have some contextual actions in the loot screen. If you are looking for ammo for a specific weapon, you can hover over that weapon and it will show you any magazines or attachments that will fit that weapon. You can then quickly loot those or attach the weapon attachments using that menu.
So when the player hovers a specific item, this will appear a tooltip that will tell you the available actions, and that will include, for example, a single click to equip, a shift left click to store it.
We've also added a button to the loot screen to swap between that and the existing personal inventory view.
The inventory will stay, it's not going anywhere, and is more for your management. So what you're seeing here is still, the visuals are still for Squadron. We are planning to do a PU version, and that will come for this release.
Okay. All right.
And our team's last big addition to
So far, it's good. It looks good, at least in practice. It's just the visual needs to get rid of the ghosting. It's so awful. And they need to give us options for different colors or high contrast. There needs to be more stuff. And this isn't a new thing. This has been something that Star Citizen has struggled with for as long as Star Citizen has been a game. People have complained about a lot of the issues because it's just hard to see. CIG tends to focus more on like rule of cool and like visual kind of flair rather than usability. And, you know, I get the appeal, but also if you're going to go with that, you're going to have to risk, you know, you're going to have to kind of eat some humble pie and just go, listen, yes, we want to make sure that more people can purchase the game and enjoy it and not get a headache watching our AUI screens. So here's the ability to turn off these features or to change some of these features so that it can be seen. It may look worse to you, but it's better for the people who can play it. So
323 is an updated shopping experience. So today when you're looking to buy an item, you look at that item and you see a flat piece of UI on the left-hand side of the screen. You then need to interact with this item, and if the price is high enough, it will take you to a confirmation screen in the Mobiglass that shows you more information where you can confirm if you want to proceed with the transaction. With the new Mobiglass being introduced, we took this as an opportunity to remove the old confirmation screen and update some of the UI around the shopping experience.
We really wanted to sell the idea of the AR lens actually putting things out in the world.
Don't mind that.
You will see the overlay around the item with basic information. You will see the price of the item and your balance.
We're no longer going to be directly interacting with the item to purchase it. We'll now have hotkeys.
It's almost like CIG took a look at what AR technology actually is in the 21st century and used that. Oh, I hate the inner thought system. I'm glad it's dead.
Will be displayed on the card. You need to press these hotkeys for a certain amount of time in order to complete the transaction.
The process will happen in the background, and then you will get a notification if it was successful.
So you can see now in world.
It's a him, Mario. Mario's looking swag.
You have this interface with the information you need to see, okay, do I want to buy this thing? You just interact with it, buy the thing, and you're done.
The default key for buying will be B for buying, but if you don't like it, you can go to settings and then change the key binding, like any other bindings in our game.
The same will be true for renting if it is a vehicle or something that can be rented. We also have the concept of quick buy currently, which just allows you to grab the item immediately.
So the main reason that we made this change is because with the new visors, we have redesigned some of the apps that you have, like shown on the visor and shown on the Mobiglass.
We had the choice to either port the existing confirmation screen over directly as it is with all of its information, or update the experience to something more fitting with our game now.
Obviously, we still have the shopping terminals, so if you want to buy things in bulk, that's probably where you go. But when you're just picking that one thing up quickly, like that.
Looking for the evolution of that.
So for anyone playing Star Citizen, 323 is going to mean a new visor and HUD experience that's just going to look way better than before. It's going to feel more diegetic.
It's been about polishing and improving and iterating on what we've already got in the universe.
It's going to have the new looting system, which is going to make the flow so much quicker for you, as well as the new shopping system, looking nicer, being faster.
We're hoping to provide a better experience to all the players so they have a more enjoyable experience with the game. And I'm really proud of the work that everyone on this team has been doing.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the updated visor system will unlock artists to explore different interface stylings and designers to create more function-driven apps for the different manufacturers and purposes of helmets. That the new Squadron 42 looting screens being adapted to the multitude of uses exclusive to the persistent universe. And how the new shopping interface aims to make finding and buying that item or vehicle in-game easier and more intuitive than ever before. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
That was ISC for March 28th, 2024. I will say overall, I'm okay with the design. The design looks good. I like even the subtle tilt with the loot screen. Everything looks unified in terms of the overall aesthetic. Looks great. And I'm glad that the inner thought system is dead. Thank God that thing needed to die in a fire. Everyone hated it, and finally, I think Chris, who was the person who came up with the idea, it's a long story for that one, finally admitted it's bad. We need to change it. So thank you, Chris, for changing your mind on that. It really does mean a lot to people who were having, it just was not user-friendly. Making it cleaner and easier to access is a good thing. Now, along those same lines, please remove the ghosting. Please allow us to customize the screen so that you people who are red-green colorblind, or people with stigmatism like myself, or people who have harder to see, we don't strain our eyes looking at the new stuff. That ghosting is awful. It's just bad, and it makes it look bad because it's so subtle. Like, you don't really notice it until you focus on it, and then you go, "Oh, I see why my brain hurts." And it's not fun to play, because you want us to play hours and hours of time into Star Citizen, which is fine. So maybe you don't want to remove it entirely. I get it. But if CIG is to do something, I'd really love for them to be able to turn that off as an accessibility feature, or to change the colors of the loot screens and the HUD so you can, so people who are red-green colorblind can just adapt to it. I know it may not be aesthetically pleasing and it may not fit in with what you're looking for, but you're also should be thinking about your consumers and the people who are playing your game. And this has been a long time coming. Now that you have all these systems in place, it's great. Please make that a priority for everybody's sake. But as always, I want to hear your thoughts down below. Am I just being a big cry, whiny little baby? Am I being a big bitch boy who should just grow up and deal with it? Or should they fix some of these problems? And of course, join us live, twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/theastropublive. We do, well, like a lot of different things. We just talked about fauna in Star Citizen, which is announced for 3.23. We've talked about lore, new updates to lore and other things. And we even go off on a tangent. We talked about Darth Jar Jar for a long time, too. So it's a good time. Come join us, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Love to have you here. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.